There is no UDA in Tiaty. There is no wheelbarrow in Tiaty. Yeah, we hear about it elsewhere, but it's not. We don't know about it in Tiaty.
When it comes to national politics, let me start from Baringo. Let nobody lie to you kwamba Baringo kuna chama ingine. There is no any other party in Baringo. Baringo will be UDA, and all aspirants, all the aspirants for all positions. If you not be from UDA, you will never see that seat. I can only say that you can exempt Tiaty. It's good to be honest. You can exempt Tiaty because that's where KANU has been playing its politics. But
self-reliant. So I have a different approach. I've shared with you the different approach that I have. I want us to deal with issues right from that ground level.
You know, Baringo has made a decision, and I don't think somebody will reverse about the presidency. In fact, when you get these people, they are no longer talking about the president. The real elephant in the house now, not even so much of governorship, but the real elephant is in the MP seats.
Ni wakati wetu wa kupiga siasa kuleta uongozi mzuri Baringo County.
Good evening and welcome. This is Baringo News, and this is the program that you get to know who your aspirant is. It is an election period, and every time when you're at home, maybe you're at work, you would hear someone is coming to your locality asking for your vote. But who are these people? And this is the program that gives you an opportunity to get to know these people. This platform also gives you an opportunity to understand what these leaders who are aspiring to vie for the various seats have for you. So should you be voting for an MCA, a governor, a woman representative, an MP, a senator, and any other seat that is elective, even the president, you would also always want to know who this person is. And by the time you're going to the ballot, you'll be making the correct choice. I'm your host, Komen SK. And tonight we are privileged to have one of the senior most politicians in Baringo and the Rift Valley. And that is none other than Mheshimiwa Musa Sirma. And Mheshimiwa,
Yes.
I may not even introduce you much because almost everybody knows you. And before that, thank you for welcoming us to your home. So we are coming to you live from Mheshimiwa's residence in Nakuru County. So Mheshimiwa, welcome to the show.
Thank you, Mr. Komen.
Yeah.
And Baringo News.
Yeah.
Welcome to my residence. Welcome to this interview because it is important for the people of Eldama Ravine and Kenya at large.
Yeah.
To know my positions politically.
Yeah.
To know my positions in terms of what Baringo has for us.
Yeah.
What Eldama Ravine all entails and the needs of the people of Eldama Ravine to be able to make a choice.
Well, and we are glad that you agreed to be with us tonight.
Thank you.
So to you, the viewer, you have an opportunity to ask a question, seek clarification from anything that you wish to seek clarification from Mheshimiwa tonight. You will get an opportunity to hear his agenda in detail. And should you have a question, you can drop it on the comment section. We are live on Facebook and YouTube, Baringo News. Karibu. So Mheshimiwa,
Yes.
who is Musa Sirma?
Thank you.
Yeah.
Musa Sirma is a Kenyan. Musa Sirma is formerly a professional in terms of having worked with government for a span of about 12 years before I left. And went into the field of politics for 1997 to date.
1997 to date.
Yes.
Wow.
And having been in politics, I've gone through the many successes and challenges. Of course, I've been able to assist others. I've been able to work during difficult times when there were no resources to possibly support our people. To this time when resources started, to the time I was I served in government as an assistant minister in various ministries. Between 1998 and 2002. And after that, I came and I was re-elected in the year 2002. But we went to the opposition. So I have served in the opposition for 5 years as a shadow minister of local government and keeping checks on government. And till 2007 when the ODM brigade came in. Of course, in between, in 2006, I was also a kingmaker. And the kingmaker, who is none other than William Ruto.
You made the deputy president the king of Rift Valley.
Yes, and the official spokesperson of the Kalenjin community. And Kenya at large as a presidential candidate.
Wow. Well, before we even come to that, ulizaliwa wapi? I'm sure that is what others are even asking themselves.
Wow.
And for those, I'm sure that there are so many people who have moved to Ravine and maybe they don't know where you're born and such like.
I was born in Sagat village, Kabimoi location, Eldama Ravine, or current Esageri division of Koibatek sub-county, Baringo County. I went to school from nursery school in Sagat. After that, I went to standard 1 to standard 7 in Kabimoi Primary School. I went to Baringo High School for my 4 years. I went for my Form 5 and 6 in Njoro Boys High School. And then later joined the Egerton University.
Well, that history is quite, it may seem not to be very necessary, but some people, I'm sure they're feeling proud having gone to the same school with you.
Wow.
Yeah.
Of course, there are many. I have a lot of supporters who are also, who are happy with me, having been classmates, having been one of them. And of course, the various alumni in this country. Of course, I'm in the Egerton alumni as a member. I'm also a member of Baringo High School alumni. I am also a member of Njoro Boys High School alumni.
Yeah.
So,
you know, in the last elections, we could see a lot of arguments about who was your classmate.
wow.
And which year did you clear? So I think it's clear that you have a clear record of your education, and that is what that's an argument that is set to come in very soon. Well, Egerton, what did you study? I see from your profile, when I was doing my research, I could see you worked as a forester before joining politics. What did you study in college?
I studied forestry.
Oh,
yes.
Forestry, and you got a forestry job.
I was employed by government direct. There is no, at that time, there were only 2 or 3 employers who could employ foresters. One major was the government. The second one was the East African Tanning Extract, which was dealing with water. And the third was Pan-African Paper Mills, where you would go there as a logging manager. So those are the only opportunities which were there. And I was lucky to have been absorbed in government. And I worked in various stations before I became the head of Baringo County Forestry Conservancy.
And Baringo County at that time, I'm sure it was the larger Baringo County, which
It was the larger.
expansive from Baringo South, which
Yes.
is now Eldama Ravine and Mogotio,
Yes.
to the far end of Baringo North,
Tiati. Yes. Yes. And of course, the Baringo South, Muchongo area.
What can you say about the forest cover in Baringo based on your expansive, or rather the rich experience that you've had as a leader in the forest sector, and also right now that years have gone and you can see changes happening?
We've been having a wonderful forest cover and planned harvesting before.
Yeah.
Currently, we are facing challenges because almost all the areas, most of the areas have been harvested heavily and with no replacement because of lack of sustainable management. They are not able to plant. And currently we would say there is a need that that we have a sustainable harvesting where we plan our harvest in terms of what kind of volume can we remove per year. But in the last 5 or 10 years, you would find everybody rushing into Koibatek and cutting all over. And in fact, my biggest surprise was end of last year.
Yeah.
When the Kenya Forest Service issued licenses and also allocations to the various industries. And these industries were going to sweep the whole of the plantation forest within 2 years in the whole of Koibatek. And that is why the sawmill industry in Koibatek took that on behalf of the residents to stop that so that we have a sustainable harvest and a sustainable management. The cut volume should be restricted because it's going to open up and we shall have all our rivers dry.
Well,
so we are really in a big problem because of lack of planning.
That being your area of expertise, I think we'll come back and also ask what your agenda would be on issues environment.
Yes.
Well, you highlighted that you've been a kingmaker. You even made the bold decision of coronating Mheshimiwa, the Deputy President, to be the spokesperson and the elder in the community of Kalenjin.
Yes.
And I'm sure someone is asking themselves, where did your art of politics begin?
Of course, I've never been a person who is just a silent legislator in Parliament. I have, especially during the time when we went into the opposition, our community was targeted. They actually sacked a lot of officers after the NAC government took over. We lost almost 6 generals. We lost civil servants, the PSS and all this. We were there to fight for. Secondly, there was also a time when our former president, the late Moi, was being harassed. And we felt it was not correct. And at that time, we didn't have a person. We were depending on the current president, Uhuru Kenyatta, to speak on our behalf. But we saw that he might not have been having that real zeal to fight for us, because at that time, the government was not also hard on him, and but to us as a community, we felt the pressure.
Yeah.
And I would say the government at that time, when they started harassing us, we really looked at ourselves and saw that we were not having a leader. I took the initiative personally, I approached the person who was called the total man.
The late Biwott.
The late Nicholas Kepiator Biwott. We took 1 hour, a rare opportunity to talk to Biwott. We took 1 hour with him. And I really tried to convince him to be the leader of the Kalenjin at that time because of two things. He had a long experience at hand and had worked very closely with Moi. Secondly, he had resources to be able to support us, to be able to sensitize our people on the needs of involving ourselves into the political game so that we can up our game and be able to negotiate with the government. Biwott said he was not ready. And of course, the biggest word was he feared Moi. Now, the second part came in. I went to Henry Koske. We called as a team. And yes, Koske was willing, but he wanted to consult. But some of the members actually said, no, I think he's not serious, he's not what. And, there are people who may not have liked him, but I don't know why. But of course, I approached him.
Yeah.
The last person I approached was Dr. William Ruto, the current Deputy President of the Republic of Kenya. And I told him, it is time we made a decision. As the young generation politician of the Rift Valley, to bring a change and get a leader who will be our point person and whom we shall have reference to in terms of all other things, including in terms of speaking on our behalf.
Yeah.
That is when I approached Ruto after the referendum.
2005.
2005 December.
Yeah.
It was October when we had the celebration, of course. Or was it November, around there? We had a celebration before December. And there was a presentation at the Grand Regency Hotel, which was presented by Dr. Sambu of the Cass Media in the US. And he was giving us the history, the Egyptology of our Kalenjin community.
Yeah.
We were sitting with Ruto and I told him, it is time that we did this. And I told him, I would like to propose that you take over the mantle of the leadership of the Kalenjin community. And he was also shocked because he never expected that from me.
And holding on to that, I'm sure there's no day you'll propose someone without knowing them that much. Did you have a history with Mheshimiwa, the Deputy President?
We joined parliament with him.
1997.
He's been a fighter. He's been, I saw his energy was good and was ready to lead other leaders who are there. And of course, the experience we had gotten in the last about 8 years, we saw that it was enough for us to make a change in terms of leadership.
And here we are. He's the Deputy President.
Yes.
Going for the top seat.
And let me tell you,
yeah,
when we did that, on the 15th of January 2006, we told him we want him to go to the top. That is the top of what we are seeing is, when you tell somebody, we want you to go up, the upper limit which we can see with our own eyes is possibly the sun.
Yep.
And we told him, we want you to go to the sun. But if you don't reach there, you can land on the moon and wait there as we come and push you more. He landed at the moon. We want to push him to the top seat.
To the sun.
That's where we are.
Well, That's interesting. And if you've gotten a little bit of history of where the politics of Mheshimiwa, the Deputy President, William Ruto, and among the people who took the bull by the horns and made the decision to crown him the Kalenjin spokesman, is here with us tonight. And before we continue, maybe I should acknowledge a few people who are watching. Alex Loria, you're saying you're tuned from Loyamorok. That's someone from Tiati is watching from there. Kelvin Koech, you're tuned from Kapkoi. Lalutka, I don't know where that is.
That is in Lembu's Quen ward.
And you kind of really understand your constituency. Kirigit Kosirma, all the way from Afghanistan. That is D the Awesome. Some quite a difficult name. Frank Serto, you're saying you're following. Brian Kipli Morono, you're tuned in. Architect Signon, you're following. Victor Cherome, you're saying mwambie mheshimiwa tuko pamoja hadi mwisho. And you're watching live from Nairobi. Davis Kosgei, you're tuned in. Galileo Cornelius, all the best mheshimiwa. You are our incoming MP. #111.
Yes.
And that's something of interest as well. We'll talk about that. Keep it up, my friend. But I don't think Josephat Kibet saying he's wishing you the best. Watching from Nyahururu, Rose Biwot, Kosgei Kipto. You're watching at the Geothermal Spa in Olkaria. Well, you have an opportunity to ask a question, seek clarification as we continue with the conversation with Mheshimiwa. Now, Mheshimiwa, the history of your politics. You've not been handling small responsibilities. Looking at what you did in 2006 and see where the person is. You're vying for the MP seat in Eldama Ravine, and yes. I'm sure you have a connection between then and now. Why the MP seat for Eldama Ravine? When you're declaring your bid, you said you've done some statistics. A small percentage were telling you go for Senate, a small were telling you go for governor, and another one was telling you go for the MP seat. Why?
When I decided that I wanted to run, the first part was we had promised each other, with Honorable Lesonet, that we're going all the way to whichever seat is going and I'll be going.
Yeah.
But the people, on my research and opinion, gave me the contrary.
Yeah.
That, of course, I had not declared in good time. So Lesonet already has declared, so it means I'm a spoiler. Secondly is they actually believe that there is a lot of unfinished business, which is correct. A lot of unfinished business since I left in 2007. Of course, I was in Parliament, but on a nominated slot between 2008 and 2013. Of course, to rising into becoming the cabinet minister in charge of East African Community Affairs, and having been the chair of Council of Ministers, was the experience I got. And all this has marked what the people really think that I should be doing. And I had to follow their request, because it is them. The people of Eldama Ravine did not want to let me go. They want me to finish the unfinished business, then possibly move to any other position.
And that was evident in the poll that you did, right?
Yes.
Yeah. Yes. You were the tag, the first governor.
Yes.
Ilitokea wapi? Because that's what people thought maybe you'd come and give a shot on the gubernatorial seat in Baringo.
Yes.
Yeah.
I should have done that. I think it was a missed opportunity, but of course, I still believe the people of Eldama Ravine and Baringo County will still require me to do what they wanted me to do.
Yeah.
The first governor came in from our activities during the time of when we were at the opposition.
2002 to 2007.
Yes, the government pushed us to the wall. And it reached a stage when we had made a decision. And it was not a decision, of course. We wanted to do, we said, if the government does not require us as a community in this government or in Kenya, of course, we would be better off being released to have our own state. And that was a declaration I made. Of course, I was almost jailed. And because I was fighting for the people.
Yeah.
I fought for the people of Rift Valley wholeheartedly, without any reservations, because I felt that is, they were being harassed. They were being mistreated in offices, in every other place, including bringing in the National Land Commission of the Ndungu Land Commission, which wanted to rubbish all what the powers of the president had done in terms of nullifying the allocations which had been made by the president, and constitutionally he was right. They were being harassed to being denied their rights in terms of assembly, in terms of whatever they wanted to do. They were being harassed everywhere. And don't forget that before we even declared Ruto in 2006, the provincial administration had virtually almost blocked our meeting. And we asked the provincial administrators who were at that time doing that, whether they were in the opposition or in government. The best thing a sitting government will do would be to encourage an opposition party to split. But this one wanted the opposition party to be together. What was their business? So they didn't understand the politics of that time.
Yeah.
And when they realized that it was a big mistake, they gave us the opportunity. And that is how we split. And of course, when we had made, before even we made Ruto, of course, I had already been declared the governor of the Rift Valley, because I was fighting for the rights of the people of Rift Valley. At that time, I made several declarations, and people saw the boldness and my fearless nature. And they decided that Rift Valley should just be governed by this guy.
And that is Mheshimiwa Musa Sirma.
And that is me.
Well, that bit of being fearless and making very bold decisions that would even split camps. Some would be against you. Some would like you for the same. Here you are as well. I'm sure it is also a bold decision. You may have wanted to go for any other seat, but you went for the seat of Eldama Ravine.
Yes.
Constituency MP.
Yes.
What is your agenda for these people?
Yes, Mr. Komen. I think that is the key thing.
Yeah.
To the people of Eldama Ravine, I humbly come before you. I have an agenda, of course, and I offer myself to the people of Eldama Ravine on what we call the social economic transformation of Eldama Ravine people. And in this social economic transformation, we're talking about 3 pillars in my agenda. These 3 pillars, which I believe will transform Eldama Ravine to a better place. And given the time to be able to do this, we should be able to move forward. First, the agenda of empowerment of our youth and empowerment of our business community so that they can be able to do what they are supposed to do. Empowerment entails getting for them employment, seeking for them both local and foreign employment wherever we can be able to get. Of course, I know how I'm going to get the foreign because I've taken, I think you have even seen a person from Afghanistan.
Yep.
Those are my products. I took people to Iraq. I took people to Qatar. I took people to Dubai to get jobs. All those people, they still value what I've done for them.
Yeah.
And to be sincere, all these people, we worked with them very closely to be able to move to those destinations, seeking for a better life. Of course, at the time I was a member of parliament,
yeah,
I remember I offered very many Eldama Ravine people assistance to go to the US for studies. At that time, they only needed a bank statement. My bank statement was used by over 50 people who traveled to the US and back.
Oh.
Some of them have gone to stay there. Some of them have gotten employment there. Some of them have become citizens there. I have a diaspora there. If I go there to be voted, I'm sure I'll get not less than 50 votes because they are there. I will also want to say that empowerment also entails what we are actually looking at in UDA as a bottom-up promise by our Deputy President involves allocating funding to every constituency to the tune of about 120 million. And this 120 million is going to transform the lives of the women at the market, the border operators, the farmers who are starting the small-scale businesses, the Wazes who would like to have some few beef cattle, and also the dairy industry. This money is going to change the lives of many. And that is the sector of empowerment which we want to put into place in our county and in our constituency. Because if we don't change the lives of people, I can assure you, we may face a bleak future for our youth. Our youth currently have been left home. You find graduates, they are there. You find those who are finished Form 4, they are still at home. They are not able to get any form of employment. When you look at even the recruitment drives which have been done in our constituents, they are all shambolic and all money based, because we have never seen people who have gotten it genuinely, and we don't even know when they come to do recruitment. We have never been told how many people are going to be recruited. They just come and say, endeni kwa laini,
that is
mukimbie,
for the police, the
all
prison,
of them,
all that.
yes. Kimbieni, and then they will take even, you may end up, instead of being told we are going to recruit 20, they say muende, hiyo ni kazi ingine ni yetu. So what business do we need to go to do the recruitment? And we are even better off not doing it because it frustrates the poor.
So what are you looking at as a solution to that? Because it's rampant everywhere.
If I am there, I can assure you that thing will be history. And I'll make sure that there is equity. The poor and the rich will equally get a chance. This issue, we must address it from the top. It is the work of the president to stop corruption. And this corruption, unless we stop it, the poor will continue suffering in this country. And we shall never remove poverty in the country because their children are not being employed. They need to bribe their way to get. Where do they get the resources to pay to get employed? These are the problems we are facing everywhere. And I'm saying this with a lot of bitterness because nobody wants to talk about it. We have leaders. They see this happen. And they keep quiet. The other day, as I was going around and talking to people, there are teachers who have been denied opportunity for the last, since they graduated, over 20 years. Because, or almost 20 years. Because I found a teacher who is 43 years old and has not been employed to date.
Wow.
Another one is 40 years. I even met one today who is also 40 and saying, what do I do to get employed as a teacher? I'm almost retiring without employment.
A job.
Yes.
That's serious. Very serious.
I found another one the other day who has changed, of course, and said, all this thing of teaching being a profession is just nothing but nepotism, because he's not getting. He decided now to go to dairy and got 1 or 2 calves from his father and started doing 1-2. Because how do you stay after graduation? Let's say they graduated at around the age of 23, 24, 25.
Yeah.
Of course. And they are now 43. That's 20 years. So what do you want to tell that person, whether this country is fair or not?
There's no fairness at all.
Yes. Yeah. So you cannot keep a person for 40, up to the age of 40. He will not have even 15 years to do anything for himself. So what are we talking about? There is all breakdown.
And these numbers, Mheshimiwa, keep increasing every day.
Every year.
We are churning out graduates, walimu, any other profession, from diploma to degree, certificate, and all that.
Yes.
So what's your comprehensive plan for these people? You are looking at ensuring that you sort out the issues of unemployment among these young people. Do you have a clear plan? And what plan is that?
The first thing is to do pair recruitment.
And that is what you've highlighted.
Yes, that is number one. Those who are not able to get at that time should now be on, we should prepare lists of graduates so that we take them without. We take them based on the year of graduation. TSC has become another animal. We don't even know what it is doing. I think their business has been to fight NAT, which they have succeeded in putting it down. But all the same, we need sobriety in our society so that we can be able to put people in the right places. If we would go by priority, then we can be able to achieve. And
that would actually address fairness as well.
Yes.
First in, first out.
Yes.
Yeah.
So these are some of the things and challenges. You know, it's either you follow the process or just leave the process. There's no need of taking undue advantage of people. Because how do you go and pick people from outside and just come and put them into our county and our people are very many here. They have not been recruited. Just because it's a national thing, you know. Even the person who is there is also a Kenyan citizen who needs equal opportunity. So I can really authoritatively say that time is up.
Well, you've highlighted 2 agendas, and I think we will.
I've highlighted only one.
Only one, sorry. So I think
the second part of it is the infrastructure. Infrastructure which we need in our constituency. You know, we need to build good roads for our people. And it's very sad to say that in the last 15 years or so, we've not gotten in Eldama Ravine a single inch of tarmac road. I was seeing how people in Central were presenting their kilometers of tarmac roads in their mountain region. 2,000. When I see 2,000 kilometers of road in Central, and in Eldama Ravine we are talking about 0, then what business are we in? The debt they are taking from China and others to build roads, we are part of the people who are paying for these roads. The debt is not to one person or to one region. Other areas within also the county, they have gotten possibly some few kilometers.
Yeah.
But Eldama Ravine, we don't have a single inch. So those are some of the things we need to improve on the roads. We also need infrastructural development in schools. You know, an MP's position is based on national function.
Yeah.
And school is a national function. We need to build classes in every school. And especially, we have just brought in the CBC without even thinking, I think. We have not prepared funding for it.
Yeah, right now there are select schools by the government.
Yes. Why do you
Allocating one
select
class
school?
in every...
So you plan to fail other schools by just looking at all of them and say, this school does not deserve the lower secondary. And you want to take it to another place. Where will those children go?
And everywhere is a catchment area.
Yes.
Yeah.
Every primary school produces kids. So we must have, either we build schools in every primary school to have the lower secondary, or forget about it.
Well, hold it there, Mheshimiwa. Allow us we can go on a break kidogo, and we will be coming to the second and the third agenda that you do have.
Yes,
you
yes.
have it in 3 forms. And before we go on a break, we'll take a few comments that are coming from the people who are watching. Kipchumba Ben, you're saying, sorry for that, not Kipchumba Ben, but I'm seeing Trufena, Chances, these are people who are conversing. Roberto Kipruto, it is really bitter to see the TSC playing nepotism, and they should actually follow the year of graduation and the age factor of the people applying for the jobs.
Yes.
Someone is agreeing with your opinion, Mheshimiwa. Edwin Bunyata, you're saying we have noted that with a lot of concern. Brian Kiplimo, Tarmac Road, Asante Mheshimiwa. Architect Signon, Edwin Kim, and I think they are conversing. A lot of comments are coming in, and I'm trying to select which is appropriate for this conversation. Mesha Koech Cheriot, you're saying it is a great conversation. Ronald Kiprop, you're saying Kiongozi Bora. Should you have a comment, a question, you can send it to our WhatsApp number as well, aside from the comments. Our WhatsApp number is 0799030030. We'll be taking a commercial break, and during the commercial break, before we come back, there's a clip of Mheshimiwa outlining his agenda. Maybe it will help to superimpose what he has already highlighted. But of concern is the 111, and maybe that's what will give you an answer to what you've been seeing. It's not about a number plate. That's what he says in the video. We take a break. We come back shortly.
Amache amwa kora angen ale chi tugul kongen kole mito nekile team 111. Ingen chi tugul. It's not about the number plate of a car. It's about my agenda. And I have 3 pillars in this agenda. Number 1, we need to empower our youth. We need to do the bottom up. We need to bring together the people agetoret kesir gas. Kikesir gas biik atkinye, lakini mpaka leo vijana wako nyumbani hawana kazi. Hata kijana yangu huyu James tunakuaga na yeye tunazunguka anafanya bidii. Lakini tunataka tupatie watu kazi. Vijana lazima mupewe kazi na tufanye maneno ya biashara. Ya pili, the second pillar, which is more elaborate, is about the infrastructure ambayo tunapata serikali inakuja naye na nini. Those are some of that is a lot. It goes with power, it goes to the roads, it goes to water and all that. Na pia tuweze kuona ya kwamba yayoe biik alak chekikuren barabarosiekab Mau en Welino ketinye akichek chechoge chekikuren oratinwekab chego. Ndane kibek rabinik kotokchigei olda agenge. So kimeche nguni kebekeborien ya kiborien wert kanyo kongen ole otokwek ole kibunu ole kikien korobinini kongone tiare kosomwech kolechech wekwech eu mami chito age nemuch koyokwok ane amu kiane is nikyoyoe ngalecha. Ndane kikiborien non iman akobo ngalekab arap Ruto, lakini mwisho ko sai mi barak kesochini Mungu koik ne koik president. Nebo let en pila en noibo somok is all about linkages and partnership. Kogere komi boresha yu, kogere komito skyline yu. These are the partners chemeche konamgei. Kimeche kecheng rabinik bwana from ngambo cheu chanyoru biikab Equity. Kekonok na kotokwerchini biik 20%, 10%, kecheng through government. Kekonok oyach biik 5%. Kuma ukwerie tugab biik. Amu kotar biik isen yu amu koker ole rirtos biik kila siku yeleni kole kikoba Boma kobek. Andane ole mongen ririandetab biikab emoni ongen, lakini kit nekimeche ketech these circles chukitinye, but also ketech biik chok in the process. Those are some of the things we need to put together. Apkorogindene emoni nyone kotai.
Around, you can see the number of those who are watching did not really go down, and thank you for staying there. You've heard about the 111, and I'm sure you would want to hear from Mheshimiwa what really it means. How did you end up choosing that 111 so that we can continue with your agenda, Mheshimiwa?
111, possibly some people look at it as the number plate of a car. But it is my 3 pillars, which are equally important. None is better or should be implemented earlier than the other in preference. They all move together. And that's why we're saying empowerment is key. Infrastructure is key. Partnership is key. We cannot wait to finish one to do the other one. Yep. We are going to move all the 3 pillars at once.
Concurrently.
And that is why we are saying number 1. We are not saying number 1, 2, 3. We're saying 1, 1, 1. And all of them are moving together.
When did this idea come? Because I'm sure it's not the other day that you acquired a vehicle with 111. Was it a coincidence or is it something that you chose?
Of course, when you look at issues you are dealing with, of course, according to me, I believe that everything is a first. Okay?
Yeah.
And therefore, I was having that idea since to have everything move at once in terms of how to put our children forward, how to put development forward, and how to build relationship.
Yeah.
Those are key things even in my life, from my youthful stage to where I am now. Because I've been with people since school, since my young age, and we've moved together because I believe in moving with people. Yes.
Well, there's something that you highlighted during our initial conversation regarding the resources that you had at that time and right now. You have a clear agenda, 3 pillars. You've mentioned about the youth and the possibility of getting more empowered through the bottom-up kind of approach that the Deputy President has promised Kenyans, that he'll allocate an extra almost 100 million, which is almost the same amount with the current CDF allocation. How was resource allocation during that time when you were a leader, or rather when you are an MP, and right now, comparing head to head? And how does the future look like with the current promising figures that we've just mentioned?
Kenyans will be really shocked to see the difference. It is just like day and night. When I entered Parliament, of course, I entered Parliament in 1998. And when I went there, of course, many people expected that it is a place where you're going to make money. And if I can tell you, for those who may not have known, but even if you want to ask and look at the history, if we start even with the salaries of MPs at that time, you know, you would only get 10,000 as a salary and 70,000 as an house allowance. That was it.
Wait, did you say 10,000 shillings?
10,000 was my salary.
As an MP?
Yes.
1997?
Yes.
Wow.
My first pay slip as a member of Parliament.
Interesting. Did you know about that?
And
we are getting to learn from those who have gone.
When you are appointed, so we were actually struggling to be appointed assistant minister so that you get responsibility of allowance of 100,000. Okay? Ordinary MPs would always get some small allowances elsewhere, you know. But it was a season of begging. It was at the mercy of the government to give you what they felt like giving you in terms of development. You would go to the president to ask for development. You would go to the president or the minister at that time to really allocate you something to be able to do in your constituency. It was a time when it was so difficult. You would go, if you didn't have connections. Opposition people never got development, of course, and that is why they moved into the NGO world. And the NGO actually gave them an opportunity to develop their area based on what the resources the NGO had. For us, we were depending on government because we were government, but with no money. We would not do anything. What you would do is you would even sell your cows, you would sell your plots, you would sell what to develop the constituency.
Are there such that you've done it from your pocket?
Yes, of course. I sold my 4 houses here in Nakuru.
4 houses?
Yes, to run the constituency.
Wow.
So it is not that we are just trying.
Which year was that?
That was in the year, because of course, at the year 2000 and, of course, the year 2000. Because already I was struggling with what I had until 1999, when I used to have business as a sawmiller. And after that, the president closed sawmill business. When he closed the sawmill business, I didn't have any other money to run the constituency because I was not making money.
And by then there was no CDF at that time.
And there was no CDF.
Yeah.
So what do? You are here with a rambis full. We didn't have any other resource. We had to sell family properties.
And Harambes were a big thing those days. Because
Yes.
I remember in 1998 when our first secondary school was built in the locality.
I'm seeing currently, you know, I used to give a donation of about an average between 20 and 50,000. Currently, I'm seeing MPs donating 2,000 shillings, and yet they have all the money. You know, it was a struggle.
Yeah.
You know, So let not anybody cheat you that there was a lot of Mary in terms of at the first time. But when we went to the opposition, of course, when Kibaki came, he did a positive reform by introducing the Constituency Development Fund.
Yeah.
And this was the brainchild of that parliament, 9th parliament, where Engineer Karue, with his team, brought in the CDF. And it was approved by the president. And the first amount of money was rolled out. The first money was around 6 million. And that was great money because we had not seen such a money. We did a lot of development. My second tranche was around 13 million. The third amount was 23 million, and that was over.
That's when, that was 2007 now.
Yes.
Yeah.
So, that amount of money is what I am still seeing, what I developed at that time.
Do you have a record of maybe what you did with
Of course.
with that 6, 13?
I have it on my...
Is it 6 million? The second tranche was 7, and the
13,
third one
13.
was 13.
Yes.
The
third one was 23.
So that comes to around 50 million on the higher
Not even
side.
50, but around less than 50 million.
Under 50 million. Let's
Yes.
work with that. What did that about 50 million Kenya shillings do during your tenure?
Wow.
Yeah.
We changed schools. We built classes. We developed water projects in the constituency. We managed to introduce, in fact, artificial insemination to improve on our cattle for the farmers. We managed to support cooperative societies. And all those things are things you can see. You can see. We build water tanks. We tried all what we can at that time, and mainly. Also, we did dispensaries. I'm telling you, those things are there. You can see. Can take you to 1, 2, 3 of them.
Do you mind mentioning a few?
Of course, we built Mumberes Girls Secondary School.
Yeah.
We built Boita Secondary School.
From scratch?
Yeah, Boita was starting. Of course, we had the Arambes were there before.
Yeah.
And also the Catholic Church had come in, but Mumberes Girls was from the scratch. We built some classes also in Mumberes area, that is Tuluamoy Primary. We built in Soimining Primary. We built, and even when you come to the lower part, Kabimo area, Kipkorion area, Cheraik Primary School, Kiplombe Secondary School, and Kanjulul, Muserechi, Orinie, all of them they got. We also built in Nakurtakwe. Those areas we've put Soibei Primary School. I did even 2 classes. I built Tugumoy Primary School. I built Tugumoy Secondary School. We started Teenage Secondary School. All those things.
Well, something of interest that caught my attention is that bit of cooperative, assisting the cooperatives. And for the 2 years that I've stayed in Eldama Ravine, I can notice that there's a lot of power in the cooperative movement.
Yes.
There are 2 buildings owned by one circle. There's another huge building owned by another circle. Just in Eldama Ravine, I don't know of other towns. You look at the cash flow that go through circles, and it's quite impressive. With the current amount of resources that are coming to the constituency and the future of the bottom-up approach, what plans do you have for the cooperatives?
You see, disbursement of the bottom-up fund.
Yeah.
If I take it to myself to doing that, of course I don't have the capacity. We need to empower and give our circles, the Boresha Circle and the Skyline Circle, that money so that they give it out to the business people, to the farmers, those who deserve, of course, everybody deserves. But with a fee, also, of course, a small fee, not the current one. When a border rider goes to buy a motorbike, and he will go and he will of course pay 100% in terms of interest. We're talking about a management fee of 3%. And that circle, in terms of 100,000, is only 3,000. When you are buying a border, you'll only pay more by 3,000, and that's enough. And these people will do good business. A lady who is going to these commercial banks who are charging 15 to 20%, they will be able to do their business, market business. They will be able to do also their chicken business. They can be able to do even dairy by getting the heifers and all this, so that they can make a change in their lives. And the best is to get a professional organization like the ones we are having. And therefore, I do propose that if we get the bottom-up fund, we need to manage it professionally so that it benefits all and it becomes something for posterity. If we take the 120 billion shillings every year, at the end of the 5 years, the Eldama Ravine constituency will be having around 600 million. And 600 million available fund to our people. Let me tell you, it will be a changer or a game changer in their lives. You may not even be looking for employment, because if you have that money and available on request and available on application, definitely lives will change.
Well, you've heard about the bottom-up approach through Musa Sirma. It is an idea by the deputy president, and should it work, you can see how the future looks promising. And this platform also gives a record of what we are discussing here, and it will also help these people to come back and see, have we done this?
Yes.
If we have done it, how best we can improve it. Well, you were at the center of explaining your agenda, and you had highlighted on the youth empowerment.
Yes.
You went a little bit into infrastructure. Maybe you can take that opportunity to...
I can go back to the youth empowerment, because you see, we have talent centers which we need to improve. And this improvement is in terms of the youths, the ICT hubs, so that they can be able to do their business online. You know, if we can be able to get the ICT hubs, that is one of the foundations which can make our youths get employed, because you find people working from home. You find people working to international bodies elsewhere based on their professionalism. There are people who would like finance managers. They would like to have accountants, but they will need ICT hubs so that they can be able to get such jobs. So, as I was highlighting the infrastructure section, of course, I talked about roads, I talked about schools. I can assure you, if we are able to do those things, we should be able to move forward. There is also the security element. Chiefs, we need to transform the chief centers, because security is a national function.
Yeah.
And being a national function, we as leaders have really taken a back seat on improving the chief centers. Chiefs have no offices. Virtually, all chiefs carry their offices with them in their bags. You want a rubber stamp, you will stop at a center and they will stamp for you or do business for you. We need chiefs to be having offices everywhere so that the public can be able to visit those offices. Those offices need also to be staffed so that chiefs can be more effective and be able to give public service to the people, because the people require a secure place to be able to give their story, because currently a person will go to a chief on the roadside and try to explain their problems. The chief is always will also get tired standing on the road advising his subjects.
Yeah.
Therefore, we need a place which is comfortable, and I can tell you, chiefs need offices, and it's a national function, and therefore I'll give it a priority. Of course, electricity is one of the key things which is offered by the national government, and the arm of implementing it is the member of parliament, and therefore we need to give fair distribution. We do not want power to be given out based on political support. We do not want gerrymandering of electricity distribution. That is, you will give to one person and leave the others because of political support. I want to say I will hold all people equal and give them the service of electricity without having any biasness in terms of distribution. Everybody is entitled to get a service. Everybody is entitled to get power. So all that, we will also work with in terms of infrastructure. Of course, there are national functions in terms of water. The big mega projects like Chemsusu is a national government function.
Yeah.
And the distribution of it goes to the county government. I would like to say that all this, we shall put it together, and especially on the Chemsusu water, I want to put it very clearly for even those who are running that water project, that water scheme. The first people who are supposed to get that water are the residents of Eldama Ravine who are protecting the catchment. But you find that they are almost being considered last. Water cannot flow all the way to Nakuru and flow all the way to other areas without serving Eldama Ravine first.
And being a resident, Mheshimiwa, why is that happening at the moment? You can see pipes being laid, running through them.
It is lack of leadership. I would say that. Lack of leadership, because how do you leave your people go hungry and yet you are feeding other people's children? Yours will die before you come and look at them. So we want Eldama Ravine people comes first. All other things are secondary and they come last, according to my agenda. Ravine, priority is number one. And if that is not done, definitely we shall have a problem with the supply of that water. We cannot allow to go without water and other people are enjoying our water. Never. And I'll stand firm on that.
Do you have a timeline, like how soon can the people of Eldama Ravine begin to enjoy the water from the dam should you be elected? Do you have a promise to make?
Hopefully that the water laying of pipes will have been complete.
Mm-hmm.
It must be immediate. So long as a line is complete, what other business is there? The tanks have already been done. Water should just be flowing at this time. Otherwise, we are sleeping on the job.
Well, and I think that will come in partnership with the county government, as you said, because the last mile connectivity purely lies as a function of the county government.
Yes.
Taking you back a little bit, you talked of the people of Eldama Ravine should be the first beneficiary of this water because they take care of the catchment area.
Yes.
And that now brings me back to the question on the forest. There are cases of people being denied not to plant some certain crops within the forest. and also the danger of not having forest at all. In your opinion, how can we strike a balance in conserving the environment and at the same time ensuring that there is food security within the constituency?
I would say currently, the kind of scientific approach which has been put on replanting our forest is weird and unprofessional. I would say that many times. How do you want to plant potatoes in the forest and deny people to plant maize and say it is time that we planted potatoes? Who is going to eat these potatoes? The price of potatoes came down to 200 shillings. You can't keep potatoes more than 3 months in your store. Secondly, silviculturally, when you want to establish a plantation, the area where you need to touch, you don't need to touch, is where the roots of the trees you have planted are. When you plant potatoes, you're going to disturb the soil and you will lose the moisture at that time, and especially on the dry season. Maize, you just don't need to even, you just cut and leave the stump on the ground. And therefore, you don't disturb the soil. The trees will grow. But this time, they want to disturb the soil. Establishment of plantations will be impossible. Even if you want to plant, indigenous seedlings. Of course, if you are going to disturb the soil during harvest of your potatoes, definitely you will not establish a plantation. And therefore, I have been I understand that so well because I have established plantations before. And I'm a professional.
When you say plantations, you mean the forest?
The forest cover. Yeah. Yes, forest plantations. If you go to our forest area now, all the way from Chemsusu, all the way to Kiptuget, all the way to Sabatia and Asagiri, those areas are bare because of overcutting. We need to manage that. We also need to change. We need to allow the people back to planting maize, because how do you plant potatoes and you have no market for it? We don't even know how to manage potatoes. This is done by other professional people. We are used to maize. And therefore, we're going to weed those plantations and they will be established. Now you want to clear the whole forest at this time. You finish our water catchment. You finish anything which is there. Because once the tree cover goes, definitely water will disappear.
So is this a policy issue, or is it, how are you planning to sort that out?
It is a misdirected policy. And I would say it is unprofessional policy, which has been created by Kenya Forest Service to deny people wealth. We are used to using the maize which we harvest to pay our fees. We've been using it to improve our lives. And now potatoes with no money, how do you improve? And I can see it is a deliberate move to make our people poor. And there are people who would like to enjoy seeing people poor. They would like to control people because they are poor. It is time. Their time is up. We can never allow that again. We must change. This forest, in fact, what we need to do is we want to devolve. Because we know where the shoe pinches. You bring all manner of people to come and destroy your forest because you call it a national resource. But you don't know the livelihoods of the people who depend on that. We've lived there and we know how best to manage it.
All right, I think that is well captured. The policy may not be the correct, and you'd want to come and correct that. Now, to your third pillar, the partnership and linkages, what do you have for the people of Eldama Ravine?
Of course, the people of Eldama Ravine needs partnerships. For a long time, we've not been having NGOs working in our county. There are very few because of our historical nature, because we were in government. And since we were in government, we were not able to bring in NGOs because we had Moi as our president. And therefore, what else did we need? Currently, we need partnerships with NGOs. We need other donors to come in so that they can give us development projects. We need to bring them on board so that it supplements whatever government is giving. We need also partnership with the county government in terms of developing, because the people we are targeting in terms of development are the same people the county are targeting. And therefore, the partnership between national government funding and the county government funding to the best interest of the constituency, to the public there, is of paramount importance. And therefore, we need to partner with them so that we address their needs together, so that they can do one thing, we do another one. When there is a road project which is going on, and of course with funding all the way coming from national government, we need to make sure that wherever the county government has reached, the national government can proceed from there, because we cannot stop a road because, oh, this is a government, it's a national government road, this is a county government road, and we are serving the same people. So we need to partner in terms of that, especially on the infrastructure issues. And therefore, I would also say, in terms of linkages, is what I had initially said, that we link up with international agencies to be able to get employment for our youth in the foreign countries. We need also to be able to link with them so that we can be able to offer better service to our people and get employed where they are going. So those are the kind of linkages to be able to achieve, both to bring development and also to support us in terms of employing our youths.
Yeah, and I think that goes with what someone said, that maybe the CDF would be just 2% compared to the national budget. So there's still more out there from the national government, the county government, which is taking about 35%. Is it 35? The recommended is 45.
The government?
The county government.
It is 15%.
15% only.
Yes.
So 15 plus 2, we are talking of 17%, and there is more out there to come through the linkages you're saying. Well, Lincoln from Soy Meaning, you're saying I'm following the conversation one-on-one. I've got one question to pose to Mheshimiwa. Baringo County being one of the marginalized counties, nobody since devolution has ever considered to talk about equalization share, the equalization fund. And this should be going to marginalized counties. And yet Turkana County have been receiving their share since then. Today, I had a privilege to interact with the county CEC of Treasury, and he claimed that the 6 Baringo County MPs have turned their back on the matter. Now that I do believe that you are going to clinch the seat, what measures are you going to take in order to solve the matter?
Actually, we need a reassessment of our region. We are denied funds as a Baringo County. We are a county where we have people starving. They starve because of lack of food. We have hardships, including security. And yet we do not have equalization fund. We do not have roads. But because some people's perception of Baringo as having a president for 24 years. Of course, I think Moi did also other counties better than Baringo. And therefore, we need a reassessment and reevaluate what really equalization fund and which counties are they going to serve. Because Baringo has been locked out because we have not moved a motion in parliament. We've not moved a motion to reassess our county. If we come together as leaders from Baringo and really put forward a motion in parliament to be able to reassess and refocus what equalization fund actually is supposed to mean, then Baringo will be one of the big beneficiaries of this equalization fund, because it is the shoe wearer who knows where the shoe pinches. And us as people who are living in Baringo, of course, we know where we are supposed to be.
Well, I think that is well handled. That is from someone who was sending a message on WhatsApp. Now, you've touched on education. You would want to ensure that every school has proper infrastructure.
Yes.
There's a conversation around performance in public day secondary school, primary schools. What are your plans in ensuring that the performance in these schools improve, so that someone who is in a public school would not want to put more money in a private school for their children to perform better?
Well, everybody wants good education.
Yep.
And it is the dream of every parent that your child does well in school. We are seeing is an underfunding of our education sector. One, how does a school perform in secondary school when you have a head teacher with 2 TSC teachers doing different subjects, and the other subjects are not handled? And we have PTA teachers who have come in underpaid, and yet they have the same qualification with the current serving teachers. You find in almost all schools, I have visited almost all schools and found 2 to 3 PTA teachers in primary school, in secondary schools. They are full, they are really understaffed. And yet, TSC is doing nothing. We are told there is what we call budget constraints. What is it? All that. But the right to education and the dream of independence, which we actually put forward, that Kenya will be free of 3 things: illiteracy, disease, and poverty. 50 years down the line, we are still struggling with the same. And yet we are borrowing heavily to do other things which are of no means. It's not improving the lives of Kenyans. Take the example. How many people will be touched by SGR? How many?
Maybe it will be very restricted to the areas that they pass through.
There will be, it is just for purposes of possibly, I don't even know how it is helping, because for me, I saw it differently. It does not serve Kenyans, because the rate at which SGR is charging containers all the way from Mombasa to Nairobi is even higher than what our trucks would be doing. And yet, if we had the trucks, it provides employment to our people. It will, of course, give the consumption of fuel to give business to other people. But when it is only one train, and it is very inefficient, it's very expensive too, then what are we talking about? We've built a big railway, We bought land where the railway is passing, and yet we had all tracts of land belonging to the railway line all the way from Mombasa to Nairobi to Kisumu. All the way. How much money did we spend on purchasing land for where the railway went through? We must be dreaming wrongly on some of these things in Kenya. We had land, but we decided to buy land.
Maybe someone was seeing an opportunity to buy and resell.
Of course, that is it. And that is why we are going to remain poor.
So as an MP now, it looks like from your perspective, you see priorities not being well taken care of. For the case of walimu for the schools, what plan do you have to sort out the teacher-student ratio?
Of course, from the dream of independence, it should be a creation of one thing, that it is a constitutional right. We need that implemented, just like yesterday. We do not need excuses about our teachers. We need them to be employed, to be in those schools, because we have grown as a population, and the growth of the growth of teachers is not in tandem with our population. We are creating illiteracy in our schools and in our society, because you will find a Form 4 who has even qualified to go to the university, but he sees a person who has just graduated from the university just drinking all over in the village as if he never went to school. So why should you go to university when those who are ahead of you or those who are before you are just struggling with life on the ground with no meaning? So we need to encourage our youths to have a better life in future.
Well, on the same line of education, someone is asking, there's a conversation around having a university in Baringo. Do you have any plans of ensuring that Eldama Ravine gets one of the institutions of higher learning?
Baringo University has been a tricky chapter and a tricky thing within the county. Leaders have been opposed to having a university. I don't know why. Because the proposition there was a university running in Mogotio, it was closed. People wanted us to go to Chemeron. Finally, it was not done. People wanted it in Kabarnet. It's not yet done. Because the leaders would like to have a place where they want. But I want to say we are happy. But of course, with some people who have not been able to see the good work the African Inland Church has done through our bishop, Kotut, and the council of the Ravine Bible College. They have brought in to partner with Scots Theological University to have a university in Eldama Ravine. But we are told there are some people who are so seriously opposed to it. And they have even sent the Commission of Higher Education to come and stop that. They have come and they found the infrastructure adequate. Why should you be fighting university in Baringo? We need to support the initiative by the African Inland Church to have a university in the Bible College. And I want to say, I fully support that. And it is a dream come true that Eldama Ravine is going to have the first university in Baringo County.
Oh.
I would like to tell the leaders to really focus themselves in other things than fighting the university. let's leave this university grow. We need our children to have cheap education, because when they go out there, they spend a lot of money, which parents don't have. We're doing Arambes all over. If we are given a chance to have a university, our children will just be staying locally within Eldama Ravine, and they will get the same education they would be getting in any other public university. Of course, Intech is always, and it is currently, through the Joint Admission Board. And we shall be getting our share from the Scots Theological University. And therefore, our students will go there. Those who would like to relocate from other universities, based on what their parents may not be able to afford, can be able to move to Eldama Ravine and have their children study there. Because if the curriculum is the same, what are you looking for? Are you looking for spending money or enjoying yourself outside at the detriment of your parents and your other siblings? No. You need to support your brothers and sisters to also achieve what you are by having a cheaper way of getting that education. So I would like to encourage all the people that we need to support that university. If if the approval comes and the partnership between Scott Theological College comes in, we need to be together on this.
Well, I think that is well handled. That was a question by Malik Keta. Well, we are heading to the tail end of this conversation, and maybe Eldama Ravine is not a small constituency with respect to the number of polling stations and also the expansive area. How are you faring on? The other day, I think a day or two ago, we could see aspirants showcasing that they have paid for the UDA party. We can see you're on UDA attire. That is to say you're confidently going for the nomination. How are you faring on?
Well, of course, it is the people to make that decision. I cannot judge myself of how good I am, but of course, I'm confident that the people of Eldama Ravine will consider my candidature as a candidature of the moment. I would like to promise the people of Eldama Ravine an all-inclusive servant leadership approach where the views of everyone will matter and consultation will be the centerpiece of my decision making. I would like to say that I have come into UDA for the nominations. I've paid my fees. I've been cleared by UDA to vie for the Member of Parliament for Eldama Ravine come the nominations between 9th and 16th, which has been put as the dates for our nominations. And of course, the challengers who are there, I don't underrate anybody, but I want to say I'll work very hard to make sure that the people of Eldama Ravine elect me, and I will give them service they deserve. Eldama Ravine has been neglected for long. We need even to change the town itself. You can imagine an old town like Eldama Ravine. I don't know whether you know the history of Eldama Ravine.
Not much.
Eldama Ravine was the eastern capital of Uganda at the colonial times.
Eastern capital of Uganda.
Eastern capital of Uganda was Eldama Ravine.
Oh.
Then it was downgraded to the provincial headquarters of the Kericho province of Uganda.
Kericho province of Uganda.
And then we were downgraded to a division in the Kenyan government.
Well, that is interesting history.
So-
Does it have a connection with the move by one of the Uganda presidents wanting to hive?
Of course, you know, during the colonial times, the boundaries were marked haphazardly, and they were putting capitals everywhere. And of course, Uganda was at that time, you know, the pearl of Africa when they were really choosing where to go. And Eldama Ravine was, you know, it had a fort even. There was a fort in Eldama Ravine. And that is how we are having the Cosmo communities in Eldama Ravine. They came for different purposes. And therefore, I want to say Eldama Ravine needs better. At this time of age, that Eldama Ravine does not have a sewer system. That Eldama Ravine does not have good roads within the town. We need an upgrade of the town. We need an upgrade of the status of Eldama Ravine. Eldama Ravine should be covered as one of the municipalities within the Kenya, so that it can be mapped up by the Kenya Urban Roads Authority. It's not covered now. In Baringo County, it's only one town called Kabarnet.
Kabarnet, yes.
Where Kura is building roads. Why not Ravine? Our leaders are sleeping.
And Ravine actually has the biggest voter population
Yes,
in Baringo.
we are talking about the most populous and the voter-rich constituency, and yet we are neglecting. We are not giving people service. During the rainy season, you will find everywhere is flooding because the drainage is not done. Everything is in a mess. We need a change, and this change must come at this time.
Well, we need a change, and that change must come at this time. And I'm sure you're seeing that time has really moved. It was supposed to be a 1 hour conversation, but we have gone into 1 hour, 30 minutes. Why? Because, Mheshimiwa, you have a lot to share, including history that some of us have not even heard of. Well, your final words tonight for the people of Eldama Ravine, and maybe you can use that camera.
To the people of Eldama Ravine, I've come before you humbly to request your support and vote during the coming nominations. I'll bring change to Eldama Ravine. I will be able to give you the service you deserve. The current service you have is just too much below the par. And therefore, I am here to give you service. Thank you.
Well, thank you, Mheshimiwa, for being here with us tonight, and of course for hosting us as well. This platform gives an opportunity to these people who are watching and interacting with you to get to understand what leaders really have to offer. And for you, you've had a chance to do that. And I believe you'll also get feedback regarding this conversation we've had tonight. Tunashukuru sana. And from us as Baringo News, the team who are behind the cameras, fundi wa mitambo, we are grateful for your time. We've taken much of your time, but we are very grateful for sticking around. And just to remind you that these conversations, the one-on-one interviews that we have with aspirants, precede debates that we have lined up for MPs, senators, women representative aspirants, and also the governor aspirants. Why we're doing this is because we believe that as a media platform, we have a responsibility to give you, the audience, an opportunity to interact with these leaders and also get to hear who has content and who would be the best bet for you when you go to the ballot on August 9 of 2022. We are grateful for the time. I've been your host, Komen SK. Have a good night. Right now in Marigat, Baringo County, a farmer is irrigating his farm that would soon feed a nation. The large-scale hay farmer in Kampiamoto, Nakuru County is making a fortune out of his partnership with the Kenya Seed. A coffee factory set up by a farmers' cooperative in Baringo North is set to start exporting coffee beans. The budding dairy farmers in Eldama Ravine, through collaboration, would soon be setting up their milk processing plant. And these tea factories in Nandi and Elgeyo Marakwet counties are yearning to expand, owing to the ease of paying farmers who supply them leaf. Workers at this flower farm in Njoro, Nakuru County, wake up every day to spread the love across the globe. And for this retail shop owner, his dreams are valid. One day, he will own a chain of supermarkets. There is a spirit in the sky that drives people to do more. It is in our customers, our employees and DNA. And it is another reason to look up to Skyline. Skyline Circle, passion for excellence.
There is no UDA in Tiati. There is no wheelbarrow in Tiati. Yeah, we hear about it elsewhere, but it's not. We don't know about it in Tiati.
When it comes to national politics, let me start from Baringo. Let nobody lie to you kwamba Baringo kuna chama ingine. There is no any other party in Baringo. Baringo will be UDA. And all aspirants, all the aspirants for all positions, if you will not be from UDA, you will never see that seat. I can only say that you can exempt Tiati. It's good to be honest. We can exempt Tiati because that's where Kanu has been playing its politics. But
self-reliant. So I have a different approach. I've shared with you the different approach that I have. I want us to deal with issues right from that ground level.
You know, Baringo has made a decision, and I don't think somebody will reverse about the presidency. In fact, when you get these people, they are no longer talking about the president. The real elephant in the house now, not even so much of governorship, but the real elephant is in the MP seats.
Ni wakati wetu wa kupiga siasa kuleta uongozi mzuri Baringo County.